But the attraction was a great script. It was just a really good story, and it was just gripping, and it was, a really easy one read. Usually like you pick one up and you read 10 pages and go, oh God, I can't believe this is getting made, and you put it down and you pick it up the next day, and and this was kind of, you figured it out and what's going to happen, need to know what's going to happen, and finish it in one sitting. So that was the attraction for me.
Well, the same, but also a character that I hadn't had the opportunity to play, so obviously that was incredibly attractive. And the script, and the opportunity to work on something small and away and
Very small.
Yeah. but there's like I was actually I knew that they were like, it was a smaller crew. It's only a limited crew, and I got there and I was like, wow, this is more limited than limited. Like, this is the
with a hand tied
with a capital L, yeah.
I think we've all worked on short films
Which had more, yeah, absolutely. I'd just kind of done some afters film or something, and that had more people running around. So that was, it was at first I went, wow, okay. But then it became really amazing for that reason, because it meant that I don't think I ever heard one person complain, which is, you hear people complain on the biggest projects you work on. Nobody complained, not once, and everyone just...
I think
Maybe I complained. Yeah, I just thought that. But I mean, when everyone was working hard, everyone worked hard. Yeah. And they, if there was something that needed to be lifted up or taken somewhere, or, if you needed to help, people were helping. It was just about getting through it. So that was pretty amazing. And I don't think you ever lost your head either, openly. Openly. You kept it together.
If he wasn't so heavily medicated.
Yeah.
The typical writer-director.
Yeah.
They just wheeled you on.
That's right. I did.
Sat there and we just did our own thing.
Drooling.
And I just cried.
I basically Wi-Fi'd my direction through.
It was all just,
There is a very intimate feel to the film, though. I mean, the shots and the way that things are set up. There is a very intimate feel. It never feels like that there's a world almost outside what's happening, which I really
well, I mean, can I say? I mean, that's what I really like about this kind of film, as opposed to sometimes I do think that there's too much money in production. I know that's crazy, but when you see a film and they've kind of thrown everything that they can at it, and crane shots and everything's put together, and too polished, and there's something about, I think, for a filmmaker and for actors as well, for working within these limitations, that really kind of makes you, bring your best to it, and really pushes people to kind of, come up with some really creative solutions. So.
I think we're fortunate in that, I think from an aesthetic point of view, everything that you kind of see on screen comes out of the, I guess, core arc of the central character. Everything kind of extends out from that, so it sort of suited the aesthetic of the film to kind of not go too large or too wide. So we were lucky.
And plus you didn't have any wide lenses.
And we didn't have any wide lenses, no. We didn't have any cranes. If we wanted a high shot, we had to stand on the van.
Aaron had to sit on Max's shoulders.
We're not going to have one of those Bowfinger moments where you're stealing the equipment to use for the day.
I know we had one of those.
Yeah, we did. Well, the thing I like about directing, I think, is just this process of collaboration. I mean, you've got something on paper, and then you cast your crew as carefully as you cast your actors, and once you've got that team together, it's just about seeing it come to life. And it doesn't always necessarily, it's not about literally creating the page, it's actually about improving it through a whole range of different crafts. And I guess being a part of that is what I find most exciting, and that's the positive experience for me. And that we kind of come through to the other side and get to this point and realise we actually did create the thing that we were after. And I think that's probably the big positive the biggest challenge was actually doing that.
I mean, I think that's true.
Across all platforms.
The best moment is actually watching the film and realizing that you like it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that all that hard work kind of, has paid off.
Yeah.
And the hardest moment is actually watching it for the first time.
Yes, yes, that gets quite edgy there for a moment.
Seriously, the best thing, I think Chris covered that, was the collaborative process. And I think for a producer who has a background in filmmaking myself, as a filmmaker, I've developed into a more creative producer. And that getting that feedback, from working with Chris on the script and him talking to me about ideas and shots. So it's beyond the kind of usual decision-making processes, or do you agree with this cast, or, those sorts of fundamental decisions. It was actually much closer than that. And I think I just love the creative process, so I enjoyed being part of the storytelling. And I think the worst part was, and also the other good thing was is seeing the film over and over and still engaging with it, and actually still tearing up. And, goodness, how does that happen? And that usually comes from performance, the story and performance. It works. So, but the worst thing is actually the film. The vision of the film actually was too big for the budget, and what it meant was a lot of people ended up doubling, tripling, quadrupling up on roles. And I think for me as a producer, the big mistake I made was to try and AD as well, because it actually meant I couldn't location search and I couldn't do other things, and I wasn't kind of taking care of the detail as much as I would normally. And for someone who has a strong production background, that hurt me a great deal, personally. So, and I just think asking people to go above and beyond sometimes is really, it's awful. It's actually really awful, and it's been relentless on this one, actually.
How long was the production length?
Well, the production length, we did pre-pre, we've been doing soft pre since December 2012, and then we went into formal pre around June 2013. We only just finished the film a week ago. We only just got it onto the DCP because Sydney Film Festival accepted it on a rough cut, basically, and no original music, no sound edit. So, and Nishen was just like,
without the sound though, because it's such a major. That score is a major part of the film.
Yeah. So I think it's just been, and we're also trying to work out a sort of a different kind of distribution path as well. So at the same time as finishing the film and prepping up for Sydney Festival and all those things, it's kind of like, oh my God, I'm also trying to get my head around a whole new distribution landscape. And so as a producer, that's, I think, just the overwhelmingness of the relentlessness, and but it's also been fabulous, and I'm so excited to see the film again, actually.
On the big screen?
Again, on the big screen, yeah.